बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू स्कॉलर्स हाइव। फ्रेंड्स, आज मैं एक पोएम स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ। ये अलेक्जेंडर पोप की लिखी हुई है, द रेप ऑफ द लॉक के नाम से। द रेप ऑफ द लॉक is a mock epic poem, and the poet presents the picture of his contemporary life in a satirical manner. The poem deals with the female sex, touching upon its follies, foibles, and frivolities in a satirical manner. Belinda is not the only theme. The poem has references the fashion in clothing and decoration, fondness of China collection, lap dogs from Ireland, use of cosmetics, visits to the court, the tea and coffee houses, games among ladies and lords. Life and works. Alexander Pope was born on May 21, 1688 in a middle-class Roman Catholic family in the heart of the city of London. His father, in his 40s, was a wholesale linen trader and seems to have done well in his business. When Pope was just 12 years old, his father retired from business and the whole family moved to Binfield in Windsor Forest. It was at this age that Pope contracted tuberculosis of the bones, which not only affected his normal growth but also caused the curvature of the spine. As a result of his maladies, Pope became an invalid for the whole of his life. His height remained dwarfish, barely 4 feet and 6 inches. He had to depend upon others for such minor activities as dressing and undressing. His constitution became so frail that any travel on the bumpy roads of 18th century England was a real torment, and he could not enjoy a normal love life and had to remain a bachelor all his life. The fact is that his life was a long disease. Education. Both his personal hardships and the restriction on the entry of Roman Catholic into good institutions made formal education out of question for Pope. Though he did attend one or two Roman Catholic schools for short periods, he was by and large a self-educated man. His incapacity for physical activity and his sharp intelligence made him an avid reader from his childhood. He learned several languages. His circle of friends. Despite his physical hardships and the distance from London, Pope was determined to make a place for himself in literature. By the age of 17, he had adjusted himself to his lifelong invalidity. As soon as he felt better, he made several trips to London and became friendly with several men of letters. Enemies. Pop's circle of enemies was, however, as strong and large as his circle of friends. His weak health, his alienation from the mainstream of the society because of his Catholic religion, and above all, his unconcealed contempt for pedantry made Pop extremely sensitive to attacks on his character and literary works. Last years. By his 50th birthday, Pope had established himself as the most formidable literary figure of his times. Whether one admired him or criticized him, he was a subject of critical discussion. His income from the translation £10,000 had provided a financial security for the whole of his life, and he could now lead a quiet, retired life at his grotto. Here he pursued another of his favorite pastimes and became well known for his views on landscape designing. No creative work in poetry came afterwards, and Pope was content to spend his time revising and publishing his earlier poems. His health had started declining, and finally, at the age of 56, he died of asthmatic dropsy on 30th May 1744. Pop's literary works, despite his physical hardships and ailments and despite the fact of his death at the age of 56, Pop proved to be a prolific writer. The secret lies in his commitment to poetry at a rather early age, as he later claimed he wrote the Ode on Solitude when he was merely 12 years old. Moral and satirical works. Pop's great ambition was to be a philosopher, and so, as soon as he had earned fame and enough money for himself, he planned to go ahead with his philosophical work. But there were scores to be settled because by this time Pope had created many enemies. So he came out with his mock epic. Pope defends his role as a reformer. The last years of Pope's life were spent in revision and publication of his earlier works.